The world doesn't care what you say you want. It only responds to what you prove you're willing to earn. So for the next 90 days, don't talk. Don't explain. Don't announce. Just build. Just become. Just prove. Prove it in the silence when no one's watching. Prove it when the bed is warm and your dreams are louder than your discipline. Prove it when it hurts, when it's slow, when it feels like nothing is working. That's when it counts. Because anyone can grind when it's easy. Anyone can show up when the fire is new and the applause is fresh. But the person you become when it's cold, quiet, and thankless? That's who determines your destiny. So here's the question that will define your next 90 days. Are you serious, or are you still playing with potential? This world is not short on ambition. It's drowning in it. But few will ever transform that ambition into identity. Even fewer will endure long enough for the world to take them seriously. You want to be one of the few? Then prove it. Not to them. Not to the doubters. Not to your friends. To yourself. Because the most dangerous lie is the one you whisper to your own reflection. The one that says, I'm doing enough. The one that says, I've tried. The one that says, I'll start tomorrow. You've said it before. And it got you here. But here is not where you're supposed to stay. Here is the first chapter, not the final one. Here is the foundation. But the mansion you were born to build, it rises brick by brick, through 90 unbreakable days of proof. And if you give your soul to this process, you will become unrecognizable. Look around at those who've carved their names into history. Lincoln didn't wait for applause. He endured ridicule, betrayal, and failure because his cause burned deeper than comfort. Edison didn't invent light by dabbling. He failed 10,000 times and refused to call it failure. He proved the world wrong by outlasting its disbelief. Disney was told he had no imagination. Carnegie was born into poverty. Ford went broke 5 times. But they all had one thing in common. They made the decision to become. Not talk. Not wish. Not dabble. Become. They proved it. And that's the spirit you must awaken now. Not tomorrow. Now. You've coasted long enough. You've survived on bursts of motivation, on short sprints of excitement. But this season requires endurance. The kind of focus that doesn't flinch. The kind of belief that makes other people nervous. The kind of discipline that doesn't ask for permission, validation, or reward. Because greatness doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most relentless. The ones who are willing to bleed in silence so they can roar in legacy. So for the next 90 days, you live with a chip on your shoulder. Not because of them, but because of you. Because you owe it to the child in you that used to dream with fire. You owe it to the future version of you, the one waiting at the finish line. You owe it to your family, your calling, your gift. You don't need the world to believe in you. You need to remember who you are. Because you've tasted your own power before. You've had glimpses of who you could become. Now you stare in the mirror, and the voice is louder. Prove it. So you wake up before the sun. Not for the likes. Not for the praise. But because the future you demand is worth more than another hour of sleep. You train when your muscles scream. You study when your mind wanders. You work when the crowd leaves. You show up when it's boring, brutal, and repetitive. And with every single choice, every small win, every rejection overcome, you earn another piece of the person you were born to be. Because success is not a leap. It's a climb. And the mountain doesn't move for wishes. It moves for warriors. You don't rise by shouting at the summit. You rise by proving, step after step, that you are worthy of the peak. And in that climb, you will be tempted. Tempted by comfort. Tempted by shortcuts. Tempted by the soft voices of mediocrity whispering, you've done enough. But enough is the language of the average. You were not designed for average. You were sculpted by struggle, forged in adversity, built to lead, born to rise. You are the architect of your becoming, and every decision you make in the next 90 days will either build your palace or strengthen your prison. There is no neutral path. You are either moving forward or you are slipping backwards. Every choice is a vote. Comfort or greatness. Excuses or elevation. Distraction or destiny. You want to change your life? Then change your habits. Change your standards. Change what you tolerate from yourself. You have 90 days to turn your potential into proof. And that proof must come in the form of action. Not in the form of talking about your goals. Not in manifesting without moving. But in doing what most won't, when no one's looking and when nothing is guaranteed. That's the soil where greatness grows. You think you need more motivation? No. You need a standard that does not bend when the mood fades. You need to become the kind of person who does it anyway. When it's raining. When it's late. When it's thankless. When you're tired. When nobody notices. You do it anyway. Because you're not just building results. You're building identity. Identity is the root. And when the root is deep, the storm doesn't matter. So while the world is binge-watching another distraction, you're binge-building discipline. While they scroll, you sweat. While they talk, you execute. While they wish, you work. And soon, the results that seemed impossible become undeniable. Because consistency compounds. Day 1 doesn't show the harvest. Day 10 might not either. But day 50? Day 70? Day 90? That's when the breakthrough comes. That's when the world turns its head and asks, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile, not because they finally noticed, but because you'll know. You didn't wait. You didn't wish. You didn't flinch. You proved. You proved that you could walk through fire and come out forged. You proved that the limits they placed on you were never real. You proved that transformation isn't a myth. It's a decision. And make no mistake, these 90 days are not just about achievement. They are about rebirth. You are killing off the weak version of you. The one that hesitated. The one that crumbled under pressure. The one that blamed the world. You are burying that self. And resurrecting the force that was always inside you. The lion. The storm. The architect. The warrior. And every time you rise when it's easier to retreat. Every time you push when it's easier to pause. You drive another nail into the coffin of your old life. You are not chasing a goal. You are fulfilling a prophecy. You were not sent here to blend in. You were sent here to shake the earth beneath your feet. To become undeniable. Unstoppable. Unbreakable. The next 90 days are your proving ground. Not to impress others, but to ignite the dormant greatness within you. The part of you that's been asleep under layers of excuses, fear, and routine. It's time to wake that giant. It's time to stop negotiating with your potential. Because here's the truth most people can't swallow. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. No one is going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And if you don't prove it through action, then your dream dies on your watch. You've been given time. You've been given breath. You've been given the divine power of decision. Use it. Use it like Lincoln did when he rose from depression and loss to hold a fractured nation together. Use it like Ford did when they laughed at his vision of a car for every family. Use it like Oprah did when every door was slammed in her face and she built an empire out of ashes. Use it like you were born to. Because inside you is the same fire. The same God-given spark. But the world doesn't respond to sparks. It responds to flames, to the heat of relentless pursuit. So turn the volume up on your desire. Turn the volume down on your doubt. Look yourself in the mirror and declare war, not on the world, but on the version of you that keeps settling. That version doesn't get to survive these 90 days. It's execution time. And execution demands sacrifice. You're going to lose some comforts. You're going to silence some distractions. You might outgrow some relationships. That's the price of reinvention. And if you're not willing to pay the price, you don't get to wear the crown. This is your climb. Your proving grounds. This is where you either confirm the fears they had about you or shatter them with the force of your rise. This is where your name goes from background noise to thunder. You were made for the spotlight, but you must earn it in the shadows. Earn it in the early mornings. Earn it in the repetitions when your muscles burn and your brain says stop. Earn it in the hours where no one's cheering and the only voice left is your own. Let that voice be louder than your excuses. Let it echo with conviction, not comfort. Because those who prove themselves, those who conquer these 90 days, they walk into rooms like they belong. They don't beg for respect. They radiate it. And if you commit, truly commit, you will become magnetic. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because the person you will become is inevitable. You'll carry yourself differently. You'll speak with more precision. Your eyes will burn with clarity, not confusion. Because when you've paid the price, when you've earned every inch, when you've proven yourself in the arena of discipline, the world can't ignore you. So forget who you were. Forget what they said. Forget what you failed at before. What matters now is that you rise. That you lock in for 90 days like your future depends on it, because it does. You are not proving that you're better than them. You're proving that you are better than you were. And that's the only battle that matters. This battle isn't won in crowds. It's won in solitude, when the lights are off and the only thing staring back at you is truth. Truth about your effort. Truth about your focus. Truth about what you've been avoiding. The next 90 days are not about being perfect. They're about being relentless. About showing up with blood in your mouth and fire in your chest, saying, "This is mine. I will not leave it to chance." You have to move like you already possess it. Walk like the version of you who already arrived. Think, act, and breathe like the future you is watching, because they are. Every choice is a message to your future. Every skipped workout, every hour wasted on distraction, every excuse is a withdrawal from your destiny. But every cold shower, every early morning, every yes to discipline when comfort begs you to fold, is a deposit into your greatness. You're building interest on your future self. And every day you stay the course, you add power to your name. Do not let this be another cycle of motivation that fades. Do not let this energy die in theory. Transmute it into sweat, into repetition, into hunger. Because discipline is not about suffering, it's about freedom. The freedom to live without regret. The freedom to create what others only fantasize about. The freedom to become the kind of person who can walk into any room, any storm, and any season untouched by doubt. You earn that in the next 90 days. No more compromise. No more telling yourself you'll get serious after this weekend, or once things calm down. Life will never calm down. You have to get louder than the chaos. You have to build such an unshakable code within yourself that no storm can break it. And that code begins with this: I don't negotiate with my purpose. You get up when the alarm rings. You execute the plan you wrote down. You keep your word to yourself. Because if you can't keep promises to yourself, how can you expect life to deliver anything greater? Your word must be law. Your action must match your ambition. Your habits must be forged in steel, not sand. And when temptation comes knocking, and it will, you remind yourself, I'm not doing this for now. I'm doing this for who I promised I'd become. You stay locked in when the progress is invisible. You stay locked in when your friends are out partying. You stay locked in when the devil on your shoulder says, just this once won't hurt. Because you know, one moment of weakness can cost you momentum. But one moment of strength? That can change everything. You were given this fire for a reason. Not to warm your ego, but to burn down every wall between you and who you were meant to be. So prove it. Prove it in your discipline. Prove it in your intensity. Prove it in your unshakable self-respect. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. You don't need another sign. You are the sign. You are the movement. You are the revolution you've been waiting for. This is your moment to show the world, and more importantly, yourself, that you are not here to participate. You are here to dominate. Now move. You move with urgency, not panic, but purpose. Because time is your most loyal enemy. It's always moving, always subtracting, always watching. And it doesn't care what you meant to do. It only responds to what you did. So you stop delaying. You stop romanticizing the perfect time. There is no perfect time. There is now. And if you can master now, you can master everything. You want to prove yourself in the next 90 days? Then kill the addiction to comfort. Destroy the part of you that seeks ease over evolution. Because the life you want isn't hiding in convenience. It's buried in discipline. It's hidden behind early mornings, skip distractions, focus nights, and the kind of work that doesn't care if you're tired. Understand this. The greats didn't just rise because they had big dreams. They rose because they refused to stay small. Walt Disney was fired for lacking creativity. Henry Ford was mocked for chasing a car when people were content with horses. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Arnold Schwarzenegger came to America with a thick accent, no money, and a vision no one else could see. But they proved themselves, not with excuses, but with endurance. And you must do the same. You prove it by crafting your days like a sculptor. Every hour with intention. Every minute with fire. Every action a stroke of genius building the life they said you couldn't have. Because it's not about how talented you are. It's about how unreasonable you're willing to be. Unreasonable with your standards. Unreasonable with your hunger. Unreasonable with the boundaries you set to protect your purpose. This world will always try to soften you. To water you down. To convince you to play safe, play small, and follow the herd. But the herd lives in fear. You were not built for the herd. You were built to lead it. That means you walk alone sometimes. That means you choose growth over comfort again and again until it's no longer a choice, but a lifestyle. You hold yourself to a standard that would make others sweat. Because greatness doesn't rise from ordinary habits. It's carved from sacrifice. Honed through trial. And ignited through relentless action in the dark. And here's what no one tells you. The proof is not in the result. It's in the person you become through the process. When you can look in the mirror after 90 days of consistent, unshakable effort and say, I kept my promise to myself. That's when you've already won. That's when the world shifts. Not because it changed, but because you did. So when the days stretch long and the doubts grow louder, when your body aches and your mind whispers to quit, you remind yourself, this is the proving ground. This is where champions are made. This is where I earn my name. You weren't put here to chase dreams with half a heart. You were put here to build them, brick by brick, bone by bone, day by day. So pick up your tools. Silence the noise. And prove to the only person that matters. The one staring back at you that this time, you finish what you started. And when you finish what you start, the world will take notice, yes. But more importantly, you will take notice. You'll no longer question your worth. You'll no longer negotiate with fear. You'll no longer need outside applause, because you'll have something more powerful, self-respect. And self-respect is earned. It's not bought. It's not borrowed. It's not given. It's built through blood, sweat, and unwavering follow-through. You want confidence? You want certainty? You want to walk into any room with the weight of 1,000 suns behind your eyes? Then keep your promises when it's painful. Execute when it's inconvenient. Move when others stall. And rise when others crumble. That's how you build a mind that can't be broken. Not by repeating affirmations you don't believe, but by stacking evidence every day that you are who you say you are. Because when you train your mind to see proof, real, daily proof, it stops doubting. It stops hesitating. It starts leading. You don't need a guru. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a standard that does not break under pressure. And once you live by that standard for 90 days, everything shifts. Your energy, your posture, your decisions, your identity. You become the kind of person that people feel before you even speak. Why? Because you built yourself. You proved yourself. That's the energy the world respects. That's how kings are made. That's how queens are crowned. That's how legends are born, not in comfort, but in the crucible of consistency. So right here, right now, draw your line. You've wandered enough. You've talked enough. You've waited long enough. This is your season to go all in. Not for a day. Not for a week. But for 90 soul-defining, character-shaping, legend-forging days. Lock in. Wake up with hunger. Move with intention. Train like your life depends on it. Work like the world is already yours, because if you keep showing up with this fire, one day, it will be. And when that day comes, when you look back and realize who you had to become just to earn this moment, you'll realize the reward was never the money. Never the applause. Never the status. The reward was you. The disciplined you. The focused you. The resilient, powerful, unshakable you. That's the person you're proving. That's the legacy you're building. That's the truth you'll carry for the rest of your life. And no one can take that from you. So stand up. Square your shoulders. And take the first step. Then the second. Then the third. Brick by brick. Day by day. Choice by choice. You prove yourself. And when you do, the world won't ask what you've been up to. It will already know.